Welcome to Ivanoff Retirement Insights with Paul and Travis Ivanoff. The father and son team at Ivanoff Advisors and Ivanoff Wealth Management helps clients grow and protect their wealth. Paul and Travis understand the importance of having tax-advantaged, reliable income in retirement, protecting your assets, and helping you achieve your retirement dreams. Now, Ivanoff Retirement Insights.
Welcome to another episode of the Ivanoff Retirement Insights podcast. My name is Casey, and I am here with my buddies, Paul Ivanoff, insurance agent with Ivanoff Advisors, and his son, Travis Ivanoff, investment advisor representative with Ivanoff Wealth Management. And they are here to break down some of the biggest retirement headlines from the week for us. Now, guys, I want to talk about technology for a minute because our everyday life is filled with technology that is constantly evolving, especially these days. We've gone from landlines to smartphones over the year, but it feels like now more than ever, we are evolving at this rapid pace. And some predictions I saw this week are saying that by 2030, these other things will go by the wayside. We've got passwords. There's already a shift to biometric logins happening. Physical credit cards are going to go away. Contactless payments will be the norm. And lastly, remote controls. They will become voice, motion, and smartphone integrated, which remote controls I'm not too upset about. I feel like we've got 7 remotes to work one TV, and if we can consolidate that, I'm all for it. But I was reading through this list, and I wanted to look at it from the angle of our industry. And if technology is always evolving, shouldn't your retirement plan be doing the same? Talk to us about your thoughts, guys, on this and how often we should have someone reviewing that plan.
Well, you're 100% right, Casey. I've been doing this a lot of decades, and boy, the changes that have come about, unbelievable. Mm-hmm. I remember the days where the first cell phones came out. You couldn't put it in your pocket. I had to have a backup battery to carry around with me in case the first one died out. Mm-hmm. I've done this quite a few years, and not only that, even GPS roadmaps, all that. I used to carry Thomas guides. I had one for each county. I mean, they're huge. Wow. And then they get ripped. The paper would get torn. I'd have to buy new ones. And my God, I'm so grateful for the technology now, but it's going to happen, definitely. Like you're saying, the passwords, the credit cards, the remote controls. And it's definitely that way with your financial retirement plan as well. We definitely do have to restructure and keep up with the times constantly.
Talk to us about this, Travis.
When it comes to evolving your retirement plan, it's not just technology. It's, the different stages of life you're in, right? Maybe eventually you sought out for, I'll use myself as an example. Like my wife and I right now, we're in the accumulation stage of life. And I have 3 young children. But eventually, the accumulation will be done. I'll be into the distribution phase where I'm actually retired if that ever happens. I do love what I do, so I'm not sure that will happen. But let's say it does. I need to start switching the way I'm preparing for my kids, right? Now I'm looking at legacy planning, maybe grandkids, things like that. So I wouldn't really just factor all this into how does technology change your retirement, which it does. I'll get into that in a second. But really, what do you need to shift? Have you done a good job producing income for yourself in retirement? Are you happy with what you have? Maybe now we're looking at, okay, how do I set the kids up? Or how do I be more charitable? Maybe I belong to the church and I really want to help out the church. So I think the other thought when you're going through retirement planning is once you've kind of established the first phase, I guess, of retirement planning, you have the income, you're comfortable. Then what do you want to do in the next phase? And some people might want to help a kid. I have a client actually, their kid does dog grooming, and they don't have the money necessarily to get the mobile dog grooming for that matter. They didn't have the money to set up the van and do all those things. So my client's already set, but his daughter, she's passionate about this. She loves animals. She was working for a grooming company, and she saw an opportunity where she can do it herself. So the dad, instead of worrying about giving her money when he's gone or getting more income for himself, what he ended up doing is helping her finance a van, build out the dog grooming, which is doing very well right now. I wish I knew the name. I'd probably plug it. But his retirement goals changed based off his daughter's goals. Because he was just going to leave her a bunch of money when he was gone. Yeah. And now he saw that, hey, my daughter's passionate about this. She doesn't have the money to make this big move, but I'm going to support her now. I bet you that wasn't in his first phase of retirement planning. How am I going to buy a grooming van for my daughter so she can do this mobile dog wash or animal wash? that wasn't part of it. But now phase 2, he's already well protected. He has his retirement that he wants. So now he's able to help his kids. So I would think of, retirement planning more than AI and technology. I would think about how is it going to change in your current journey? And is that helping the kids out in that example? Or is it being charitable? Or maybe it's being more charitable for your time. And then as far as technology built in portfolios, something that we've done the last couple of years for our clients, I won't get too into the weeds because I tend to do that. But what it is basically we use some very tax efficient direct indexing portfolios. So it has automatic tax loss harvesting. So this would be ideal for your trust accounts, your TOD accounts. We can do automatic tax loss harvesting in this portfolio thanks to technology that we've built into the strategies. So we've already used a lot of technology, even in our portfolios we're running, and that just benefits our clients. So you have two different schools of thoughts here. How does my retirement change? Is it contributions? Is it, giving my kids more money now? Where am I at in the stage of retirement? And then furthermore, how is our firm, Ivanoff Wealth Management, utilizing AI and technology in our platforms? We're doing it a lot with tax efficiency. And I think our listeners that come in, and we've seen quite a few, a lot of them are more concerned about how much am I going to pay in taxes and how do I do tax efficient planning rather than am I going to run out of money? I think our clients that we usually work with in their net worth, they know they're not going to run out of money, but they want to make it more efficient and they want to look for, tax efficiency inside of that.
Guys, we're already halfway through November at this point, which is crazy. I feel like the year is flying by, and I know your calendar for the rest of the year fills up very fast. So is this the time to schedule a year-end appointment? Is that time right now?
Absolutely. We are getting booked out very quickly, and we're already in December bookings, and, we're halfway through November or whatever date it is right now. So I would say the time is now, and especially if you have some tax moves that need to be done, we need to do that ASAP. If we're looking at Roth conversions or charitable distributions or anything like that, you want to see us immediately. And we do have some time set aside. And if you haven't figured out your RMDs, we have time set aside to see people in December. So get with us as soon as you can. Our phone number is 714-452-1955. Before you know it, it's going to be January and you're going to wish you made the moves this year. So don't wait till it's too late. Take advantage of different tax code and the ups of the market and give us a holler.
Absolutely. We set aside just a few spots a week for our radio listeners to get on Travis's calendar. So highly encourage you to take advantage. Grab one of these spots while we have them. 714-452-1955. This will allow us to find you that next convenient time on the calendar to connect on the phone. Just you and Travis. It'll only take about 15 minutes of your time just to better understand your situation and how he and the team can best help you. 714-452-1955, or we are online at ivanoffinsights.com. You click on that Get Your Roadmap button, and we will be happy to reach out to you. 714-452-1955 or ivanoffinsights.com. So, guys, I want to talk about stagflation. That's a term that our listeners may not be familiar with, but there's a name for what happens to the economy when you have high inflation, slower growth, and high unemployment all going on at the same time, and it's called stagflation. It's rare, but the last time we saw it was in the 1970s, and now economist Frances Donald tells CNBC that she's worried it may return. Take a listen.
We have job gains that have moderated. We have inflation that has moved up. And that's okay for right now because the unemployment rate hasn't broken out. The bottom hasn't fallen out. One of these sides of this stagflation environment is going to break. And the Fed is not going to have the same luxury middle of 2026 as it does now to play both sides of that. This equilibrium that we're in, it's not going to last forever. Our view is that inflation is going to turn out to be the real problem. And heading into 2026, this Fed are going to have to slow down here when they see inflation rising further into Q1.
So, guys, let's talk about this. How can those nearing retirement make sure that their income keeps pace with inflation, even if the stock market starts to cool off a bit?
Well, it all starts with the Ivanoff Retirement Roadmap. We include all this when we put the plan together. And it's important as well that husband and the wives understand it. And that's why we have the booklet. They both know what's going on. And Travis really gets into a lot of great detail on how to handle this.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a client come in last week and he actually has another advisor And he's only been with us for a year, and he's just kind of testing the waters for us. And this is a conversation that came up. We started to get down to what his number currently is, what he's living off, and we looked at what he's pulling from his portfolio. We figured out he needs about $76,000 a year baseline to keep up with his lifestyle. And then anything on top of that is kind of fun money. A random trip or something, maybe have to redo the kitchen or the roof or something like that. So once we figured out what his baseline was, I was able to build him that $76,000 by using his Social Security, his fixed index annuity that has income coming off for life, and he has a small pension. So between his pension, his Social Security, and the annuity we use, he's at $76,000 a year for life. But how do we keep up with inflation? So for the other $500,000 we're working with, or the other advisors actually working with, we're trying to work with, what ended up happening is I showed him some dividend strategies. Not only we have the baseline set up, which is important, but now we can pull dividends off the portfolio to fill in the gap for inflation. And the portfolio is growing while we're pulling income off of it. That was just one lever. The other lever is now we're also in growth, because if the income's set, we have the baseline. So your income is coming out. You got your paychecks for life on that side of things. And we have dividends to add to our income. The rest of the portfolio, I put in pure growth. So now he's got income, he's got dividends to bridge the gap for inflation. But to her point, the market's going to go up and down. That's all right. The dividends are still going to pay because we're not selling the shares. So the shares we still own. So hopefully, the income will stay consistent. And if we have a really good year on the growth side, pull the gains off the table, and that'll kind of set you up for that rainy day if the market comes down and if you need more money for inflation. And the last piece of the puzzle I did for him, he's very concerned for long-term care. His dad had Alzheimer's. I was able to go ahead and build out a long-term care plan. So now we have income, we have dividends to keep up with inflation, we have growth for more fun money, and we've added long-term care. So it's a really good all-seasons portfolio. No matter what's happening, we're ready for it. So that is a good idea of what the retirement roadmap does. I built this in front of him. We have the next appointment coming up. He's so excited for the potential, and he just likes retirement planning can get very complicated, but when we give each dollar a purposeful planning, if we delegate and dictate what the purpose of those dollars are, we'll do a lot better job, because planning is better than guessing. Our roadmap provides a plan.
Yes, and there are a lot of factors to consider. Every situation is different, which leads to a different journey. And your retirement journey starts with that initial 15-minute phone conversation with just you and Travis. Chatting on the phone, you can explain to him what questions you have, and then he can share with you information about how he and the team might be able to help. So let's put a time on the calendar for your initial 15-minute phone conversation with Travis. This is a no-fee, no obligation conversation to share some info, get some ideas on how he and his team might be able to help you. So again, our phone number, it's 714-452-1955. If you're 5 to 10 years from retirement, this is where you're going to feel the benefits of the kind of planning Travis, Paul, and their team do really take effect. Let's start that conversation with your initial phone call. 714-452-1955 is the number to dial. Right now, we've got our teammates standing by off the air, ready to answer your call and help you put that time on the calendar. You can also go to ivanoffinsights.com. You can click on Get Your Roadmap to begin that way with us. That's going to do it for us on this episode of the Ivanoff Retirement Insights podcast. We'll be back next week with more great insight from Paul and Travis Ivanoff of Ivanoff Advisors and Ivanoff Wealth Management. We'll see you soon.
Investment advisory services offered through Ivanoff Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor firm. Registration is not an endorsement by security regulators. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities offered through Travis Ivanoff, California CRD number 325275. The firms are separate entities. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company and are not offered by Ivanoff Wealth Management Incorporated. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Ivanoff Wealth Management is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Ivanoff Wealth Management is licensed in your state, please call 714-553-1490. Ivanoff Advisors is not affiliated with Ivanoff Wealth Management Incorporated. Advisory services are offered by Travis Ivanoff through Ivanoff Wealth Management. Insurance services are offered by Paul Ivanoff through Ivanoff Advisors. The aforementioned are unaffiliated companies.
All content is for information purposes only. It is not intended to provide any tax or legal advice or provide the basis for any financial decisions, nor is it intended to be a projection of current or future performance or indication or future results.